So I don't talk about spiritual protection too heavy, right? Because y'all have to learn about yourselves first before we can go into how to spiritually protect yourself. Because if you don't learn about yourself, you're going to always think that something is coming against you and not know how to defeat it in the proper manner because you haven't learned you first. So what I'm saying is, as you learning you, you're learning about the universe. This is what you're doing. So as you start to make these connections internally, you will start to see the connections between all things. And these connections is what you call love, right? So what we call love is actually, how the electromagnetic fields connect us to these larger electromagnetic fields and frequencies, right? So like we say, we are in between the mother and the father. We are the son, or we are in the place where physical manifestation could be brought in, things could be brought into physical manifestation. You feel what I'm saying? So people got to understand that when you're dealing with love, love is about connectivity and about the unity between everything, right? And fear is division. So first you need to understand that. First you need to understand the components of you, because you knowing how you work and you knowing how you operate and you knowing how you handle things and do things, you can start to, be in a higher vibration of self when we're talking about how you feel about yourself and how you think about yourself. And I explained this in the last video, but it's for you to really grasp this concept and you really understand that these are the things that they're really attacking. They're not you. If you worry about spell work and don't worry about you first in terms of not letting somebody's outside perspective change you, that's the best way to defend against anything, is to build that shield or that wall, because you're dealing with the mental.
Baby, you somehow has forgotten for a spell who you are. Now, what do you see?
And this is how I explain it, is when you're dealing with the mental, you got to understand that the mental is what is creating these realities. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to not trick your mental, but you're trying to, put your mental in a higher perspective or have a higher view about itself. You're trying to feel a new feeling, but you have to change your perspective first. So this is what they're talking about when you hear people talk about, oh, I had a mindset shift or whatever, because they got out of fear of somebody doing something to them or somebody coming against them outside of them, or maybe why is my situation not changing, and they got more into the doing the work, the internal work, and changing how they think about things, and then and then those things happening in reality will start to, as people say, manifest or come true, right? So what you're saying is this is that the mind is what's shaping time, and then from time, everything else can be formed. From time, you can have, from the mind can contract and expand and create what we call this infinite space. You feel what I'm saying? To create more and more infinite, whatever it needs to, new substances, new everything, all created through the mind, down through time, through space, through what we call, the ethers, the space, right? You feel what I'm saying? And it's like, that's as above medium, as below medium would be, water. So you see, what I'm trying to get y'all to understand is there's a connection between all things. Without me even going too deep into science, it's more of a connection between, what we call mind and matter, and understanding that the only difference between those two things, or this what people call spirit, is the vibration or the frequency of that thing. Now I want y'all to follow me here, right? Everything in the universe moves, vibrates, and travels in circular patterns. The same principles of vibration in the physical world apply in our thoughts, feelings, desires, and wills in the etheric world. Each sound, thing, and even thought has its own vibrational frequency unique unto itself. Vibration causes everything to spin or to oscillate in circles or cycles. And I'm gonna go to and teach y'all that they in our school books and everything else, what they do is they show waves all the way left to right, and they don't really, on a flat piece of paper, and it's this two-dimensional screen is really messing up your perception of how vibration should work. First it should oscillate, then for oscillation is creating these frequencies, and these little strings, or these waves, right? They are what is interlacing the realities. So you're saying as they're interlacing other things, or they're intermingling with each other, they're actually, or these fields are intermingling with each other. They're creating, whole worlds and realms based off of these frequencies. So as you can speak these words into existence in the same way by knowing how frequencies work with each other. So what I'm saying is, even when you look at down to geometric patterns and shapes that is out in nature and out in everywhere, it's all based off of two things. First, you're talking about positive and negative electrical charges, or that's what they call it, or positive and negative electrical energy, but also what we call masculine and feminine, and understanding that we have masculine and feminine energy in everything, and you have positive and negative positive and negative energy in everything, and that's how it always works. And once you understand this, you'll understand that when you're dealing with somebody else, you're dealing with a reflection of somebody else, because everything is based off an image of what you see. So vibrational frequency makes what you see, what you hear, what you smell, and all that. So what I'm saying is, all the senses only come from the electromagnetic field, but people think that their physical body or their internal or just their internal body is what is creating it. But in actuality, it's a little bit deeper than that. It goes more into how you were even manifested into this form. So this is what you call a toroidal field or aura field. So this aura field is the thing that's actually protecting you. It is the thing that's actually giving you that protection, or that shield, or that bubble. So like when you see Magneto, he's supposed to be, the guy that controls metal, but you understand that he can create electromagnetic fields. That's why the new updated Magneto actually can, manipulate the electromagnetic spectrum. So you starting to understand that this connection between what they call mind and matter is why the scientist is always denying it, because they don't want you to make that connection. So when you're dealing with trying to protect yourself spiritually, right? Now I want you to understand, fear is a mindset, right? So when you're dealing with, when they show you images of a devil or demon, right? What they're doing is they're subconsciously tricking you into having fear upon yourself. So when you're talking about these devils or demons, that's not this. This is them horns. That is because that's dealing with what you call the cow, or you're dealing with the bull. So you understand that they're talking about the higher nature versus the lower nature of your being. So they get into tricking you because they understand the illusionary aspect of reality is, you have free will, but I can trick you into, you not even realizing you have, that willpower. So
villain responsible for humanity's suffering. But this wasn't just theology, it was propaganda. Early Christian leaders weaponized this figure to enforce moral control, frighten dissenters, and centralize authority within the church. But let's bring this closer to home. Look deeper into texts like Isaiah 14 verse 12. Many believe this is where the story of Lucifer's fall originates, how you have fallen from heaven, O morning star. But here's the twist. That passage isn't about Satan at all, it's directed at a Babylonian king, using metaphorical language to describe his downfall. The term Lucifer comes from the Latin translation, referring to the planet Venus, the morning star. It wasn't until later interpretations that this passage became linked to the idea of a fallen angel.
That's really what they're doing. So when you're talking about spiritual protection, first you need to understand, or you need to understand yourself, or you need to be able to realize that all the words that you speak and what you say and what you think is what is creating this power. And so you're talking about a strong magnetic field or auric field. That all comes from the perception upon oneself, and how you keep this feeling of expansion of the field to where they can never come and deplete your shit and have holes in your aura field, right? So that's what is happening when you're talking about a demon or a devil. They want to take you down spiritually, which is also dealing with some symbolic. So when you're talking about, then this is what I want people to understand. When people see these stories and these mythologies and different things, you're talking about, can they really understand as above, so below, as within, as without? As it has happened in the spiritual realm first, it has happened on the earth as well. Knowing that everything that is symbolic, happen both physically and spiritually. And this is the problem with people. They can never quite understand. This is why they think everything is fake. And this is why some people think everything is real. Not knowing that everything has always been real. Now, some things have been played with in terms of how they tried to make you see it. But yes, there was really an Adam and all that. But maybe it didn't happen like it happened in the Bible. Yes, there was really, all these different gods and stuff on the earth. But maybe it wasn't how we thought they were here. So this is always the play that the ones we call the adversary is no more than just against natural nature and more into the destructive nature, right? And this is what you call cherubim angels. You understand that these forces are just archonic forces that are naturally doing what they're supposed to, or in their nature. And this is the hard part for people to understand when you're talking about division or the separation of things to even have a physical manifestation. Talking about 360 degrees of will, positive and negative force. 360 degrees is a circle. Spirit. I want you to understand 2 halves.